So you're 50, 60 years old. You're retired. You have a pension, maybe of $2,000 or $3,000 American dollars. Is that enough to survive in the United Kingdom, Europe, America, in a lot of the Western world? And maybe you've been to Asia on holiday, maybe like the Philippines or Malaysia, Thailand, Vietnam, or here, and thinking that the cost of living is a lot lower, and possibly thinking of retiring in or moving and becoming an expat. Is it possible? Well, the answer is yes. I've been living in Asia for 30 years. I actually came here, it's close to 30 years. November 1993, I had an opportunity of work. I took it. I'm really glad I did, and I've been really happy. I have been retired now for about 11 years. I did retire quite early. Circumstances, I'm not hungry for $1 million. I'm just hungry for a nice, peaceful, enjoyable life. And that's exactly what I got here in Cambodia. But what are the things you miss? What are the good things? What are the bad things? What can you expect? I'm going to delve into some of them right now. Now, in many of these places you mentioned, especially the Philippines, Cambodia, and also Thailand, $2,000 can be more than enough to live on. You can base your rent, just say $300 to $500 in most countries, in sort of a reasonable, secure, safe kind of apartment. I would rent, I wouldn't buy, especially if you're new here. The food costs, if you want the Western food, it is going to be expensive. If you go local or even cook yourself, it will be, that's feasible. What else? Your electricity, possibly like $100 per month. You're going out, it depends how much you go out, it depends how much you drink. Drinking spirits can be expensive, but not as expensive as the West. Drinking beer, for example, here, a glass, just like half a pint or just under half a pint, is going to cost you 50 to 75 cents. In other countries, you can find similar, but if you're going to the hotspot towns, then it's going to be, or the hotspot areas, it's going to be more expensive. In Thailand, alcohol is quite expensive. If you want one bottle of beer in a bar, anywhere between, you could say $2 to $4. Now, that may sound cheap, but compared to other countries, that can be quite expensive. And then you may have to fork out some extras because you bought a lady a drink, and that's going to cost you $5. This is in Thailand. So it's good things and bad things. Your insurance, you would have to cover maybe like $1,000 per year. And hospitals in the Philippines, the private hospitals in the Philippines here, Cambodia and Thailand, it's fine. They can deal with most problems. It's going to be on par and possibly a lot better than the NHS in the United Kingdom. Getting your visa can be a very long and very corrupt and sometimes a very difficult process. Here, for example, in Cambodia, it's just like $400 a year. You have to be over 55 years old, and that's about it. And you can do it younger, but you've got to show proof of income, so money coming in. Thailand, it's round about, you got to have 800,000 baht in the bank, or at least 2,000 American dollars coming in per month, something like that. And you've got to do a report to the police station each 3 months. And then you got to do a payment, or you got to do the visa renewal each year. You can get travel agents to do that. I would highly recommend you do, because they know the people, they know the process. You just pay the money, sign along a dotted line, and then a week or two later, bam, you got your visa. In the Philippines, you have to register once a year with your local police or local immigration center, and it can take half an hour to 3 hours to do. It really depends how many people are inside the immigration center. But it's not really difficult to do. It is related to making sure you have money in the bank, or you have proof of income. Now, if you have a pension that you're going to have for the rest of your life, then you just show that, and you've got to transfer money from the United States to you could say Bangkok Bank, or here would be a really good bank in Cambodia would be something called ABA. In the Philippines, it would be Banco de Oro, BDO, which would be your best bank for transferring money. I've done it in all 3 different banks countless times with no problem. You can do it bank to bank. You can do it on these transfer applications nowadays like Wise. But do check some things out for the reliability of it all before you send any money to your bank account in a different foreign country. Western Union and also MoneyGram. Western Union is possibly the worst. Western Union actually blocked me years ago because I was getting some funds coming in from different countries on a regular basis, and they said, no, I'm a drug dealer. And they just blocked me automatically. Didn't really give me the reason why. I put 2 and 2 together. I did speak to them, but they gave me no reason. Western Union, I don't know, but just don't even bother with them. It's just a waste of time. There are so many different applications which are a lot cheaper and more better. And sorry, can I say more better? And better than Western Union. Usually the people who retire in Southeast Asia would be the men, and they do sometimes have a bad reputation of being called a sexpat. Why would you come here? If you go to Thailand, maybe you go to Pattaya, which I go to quite often. It's got a beautiful beach, there's lots of entertainment, there's lots of expats there, there's a big expat community, but you've got to find, and I said this before, you've got to find something as a hobby, like having a YouTube channel, for example. It doesn't have to be monetized, but you can have a YouTube channel. Why not? You got to keep occupied. There's great TV there, there's high-speed internet, there's international restaurants, there's local restaurants. You can live incredibly well for $2,000, but not if you eat in, you could say, Western restaurants every night. If you eat like the locals, you'll be fine and you'll be full, and you will have time and the expense for some extra beer. Yeah, I really need to lose weight with that one. I've stopped my beer for quite a long time now. I digress with that. So the internet, as I mentioned before, is sort of like fine. I do pay for rather expensive internet here because I have a YouTube channel and I want to upload in a good quality. It's about 660, but it is on a public network or public IP, if people understand the differences between the internet. You can get a lot cheaper, but if you want to watch Netflix, for example, you've got to have a speed of 25 Mbps minimum. Yeah, so you get the 4K version. If you're thinking about buying a TV, for example, you can get a good 50-inch TV for about $500–600. You can get the most expensive one with the OLED TVs if you want to upgrade. If you want to buy a mobile phone like an iPhone, the top flagship phones will cost you about $1,400. There, I don't know the price in the USA. If you want to buy a good computer like Mac, I'm a big fan of Apple. You're looking about for a good computer about $2,000. You can get them cheaper. It depends what you use it for. I've had my computer here in front of me for 3 years now, and yeah, it just cost under $2,000, but it's really good. It works the same speed, but I know how to use a computer. I know how to look after it. Some people don't with that. Relationships. In these Southeast Asian countries, there is in some places, not all places, in some places that the foreigner has a dollar sign, you has a dollar sign in your head, and some people may have not been as well educated as you and think you're just naturally rich because you're Caucasian or you're from the West or whatever. It is getting better. People do realize that not every foreigner is the richest man in the world, but do be careful with relationships. You're not going to have a relationship with a barber or someone that you meet, walking the streets or beach road in Pattaya, for example. It's just not going to happen. And you just have to be very patient with yourself. Just take care, don't rush into it. Why does this 22-year-old girl suddenly love this 60-year-old gentleman? because possibly you've only got another 30 years of your life to live, and if you're married, then bam, she's going to get a lot of cash from you. They may be very demanding, etc., etc. He or she, whatever your preference, or the whatever there, it is all available. It seems a lot easier, and you say, wow, why aren't Western girls or Western boys like this? Be careful. Just take your time. Just take your time. Don't rush into it within a couple of years. Example, I'm the worst person to have a relationship with, and that's me, basically. But 30 years experience, I'm not going to be fooled quite easily. Someone who's a newbie into town can be, and if it's all new to you, top advice, just take your time, be patient. It's your life. It's something you can be selfish about. Don't get me wrong, there are thousands of people who do have happy marriages, happy relationships, even with some bar girls before. They are happy. So it does happen, but just be patient. Where to find your wife to be or your husband to be, it's the same as the West. It could be, you say, just in shopping or in a shopping centre, or you're in the supermarket, or you strike up a conversation in a bar. As long as it's not really a bar girl, it's just someone there for an actual drink, could be on the street, it's the same. But just be careful. There are dating websites all around Asia, for example, and maybe you can find, don't know, and you would have a interesting time. But I repeat this, and sorry for repeating it, be patient with yourself. If I was going to start my journey in Southeast Asia, and I was in America and seriously thinking about this, I would save up for save up my pennies and then maybe do a tour of actually Southeast Asia. You can fly to Manila and you could go to a place in the Philippines called Cebu, which is much nicer than Manila. You can rent, you can stay there for, I think, about a month, and then you can find out what it's like to live there. You can find some kind of accommodation online, or you can just stay in a hotel. If it's off season, which is like summertime, it's going to rain a lot, granted, but you can see what it's like. Then maybe you could do a trip to Vietnam, you could do a trip to Cambodia, you could do a trip to Thailand as well. Not just one place. I would say in the Philippines, Cebu is a fantastic place. Manila is big, a little bit dangerous. Cebu, I've lived there for many years before and it's fine. Vietnam, I have been there, I have lived there. I would say Hanoi more than anything. Now, don't get me wrong, if you live in Ho Chi Minh City or Saigon, yeah, I think Hanoi is a better place there. If you're going to Cambodia, loads of places to go to. I live in Siem Reap because it's convenient, it has international airport, your visas can be done by travel agents, and etc. Thailand, there's a bucket load of places you can go to. I wouldn't do Bangkok especially. You can, but it's just a big sprawling city and you'll possibly get annoyed with it in the end. Pattaya or Jomtien is really nice. Phuket, fantastic. It's on the other side and it's southern, but more expensive. Or if you want a cooler climb, then head up north. Obviously, there's no sea there, and go to Chiang Mai. These are my top destinations I'd go to, and again, you can quite easily live for around about 2,000 American dollars with change in your back pocket to spare. But that's not going out and getting drunk every single night, and that's not eating the Western food every night. You've got to sort of like go with the local, and it's all delicious in every single country you go to.